Most people think wealth is a long, slow climb. Work hard, save diligently, invest in the stock market and wait. 50 years later, maybe, just maybe, you'll have enough to retire comfortably. Sounds responsible, right? But here's the problem. This strategy is built on limited control and limited scale. Let's call it LCLS. And if LCLS is your plan, you'll never achieve financial freedom. A conversation at dinner. Imagine two friends sitting across from each other at a cozy diner, discussing their futures over coffee. Friend number 1. I just got my annual review. Got a 3% raise this year. Friend number 2. That's great. How does that feel? Friend number 1 sighs. Honestly, it feels like nothing. I've been working harder than ever, but I'm still barely keeping up with rent, bills, and student loans. At this rate, I'll be lucky to retire before I'm 70. Friend number 2 leans forward, intrigued. What about investing? Aren't you putting money into your 401k? Friend number 1. Yeah, sure. But even then, the numbers don't add up. My advisor says I need millions to retire comfortably. Millions! How am I supposed to get there when I'm stuck trading hours for dollars? This conversation isn't unique. It happens every day. The traditional wealth plan promises stability, but delivers stagnation. Let's dig deeper into why this approach fails so many people. Why the traditional wealth plan is a dead end to build wealth. 2 things matter most. Control. The ability to dictate how much you earn and when. Without control, you're at the mercy of others, your boss, company policies, or economic conditions. Scale. The ability to multiply earnings without trading more time. If your income depends on how many hours you work, you'll always hit a ceiling. Even high-paying jobs are limited by the number of hours in a day. A traditional job offers neither. Your income is dictated by someone else, and no matter how hard you work, there are only so many hours in a day. Even if you invest wisely, the slow growth of the stock market means you're waiting decades for results. Let's break it down mathematically. Wealth. Job income. Plus stock market growth. Your job funds your investments. But what's the problem? Your income is capped. Your salary is controlled by a boss, company budgets, and industry standards. You can't just decide to make 10 times more next year. A 3% raise? Maybe. But 3% isn't going to change your life. Example. Sarah versus Mike. Consider 2 coworkers, Sarah and Mike, both earning $60,000 annually. Sarah relies solely on her job. She works hard, earns promotions, and manages to increase her salary by 3% per year. After 10 years, she's making $80,000, but her expenses have grown too. Her net worth remains modest because her income is capped by external factors. Mike diversifies his income streams. Early on, Mike starts freelancing on weekends, teaching online courses. Within 3 years, his side hustle generates $50,000 annually. He reinvests profits into rental properties, which bring in passive income. By 35, Mike's combined income surpasses $200,000, giving him far greater financial flexibility than Sarah. Who would you rather emulate? Time is a bottleneck. Even a high-paying job requires time. If you don't work, you don't get paid. And there are only 24 hours in a day. Doctors, lawyers, engineers all hit a ceiling because their income is tied to their hours. Dialogue. Alex and his mentor Alex, a lawyer earning $150,000 annually, confides in his mentor during a networking event. Alex. I love my job, but I'm exhausted. I bill 60 hours a week, and I still feel like I'm running in place financially. Mentor. What's stopping you from scaling your income? Alex. Scaling? What do you mean? Mentor. Right now, your income is tied to your hours. To scale, you need systems that generate revenue without requiring your constant input. Have you thought about creating intellectual property? Writing a book? Building a course? Inspired, Alex writes a legal guidebook aimed at young professionals. Within months, royalties start rolling in, even while he sleeps. Your investments are a waiting game. The stock market grows at an average of 7 to 10% per year. That's not bad, but it's slow. If you invest $10,000 today, in 30 years it might be worth $160,000. Will that make you rich? Not unless you have decades to wait and huge amounts to invest. Case study. Lisa's real estate venture. Lisa decides to take a different route. Instead of dumping all her savings into index funds, she buys a duplex for $200,000. Using rental income to cover the mortgage, she reinvests profits into additional properties. Within 10 years, she owns 5 units generating $5,000 monthly in passive income. Compare that to her friend Mark, who sticks to traditional investing and waits patiently for compound interest to kick in. The alternative: wealth on your terms. Real wealth isn't about slow accumulation. It's about breaking free from limited control and limited scale. Instead of relying on a job, build a system that generates income. Instead of waiting for market growth, create assets that appreciate exponentially. This could mean a business that runs without you. Automate processes, hire employees, or outsource tasks so your business operates independently. A scalable product: software, courses, books, content. Once created, these products can sell endlessly without requiring additional effort. Investments in real estate or assets that generate passive income. Rental properties, dividend-paying stocks, or peer-to-peer lending platforms provide steady cash flow. Example: Emma's online course. Emma, a graphic designer, creates an e-course teaching beginners how to use Adobe Illustrator. Initially, she spends weeks filming tutorials and designing materials. Once launched, the course sells automatically through her website. Within 6 months, it generates $30,000 in passive income, money that comes in whether she's working or relaxing on vacation. Choose the right game. The traditional wealth plan isn't broken. It was never designed to make you rich. It was designed to keep you comfortable. If that's enough for you, stay the course. But if you want financial freedom in years, not decades, you need a strategy that gives you control and scales beyond your time. The crossroads. Back at the diner, friend number 2 shares some advice. Friend number 2: look, I used to think like you, grinding away, hoping for raises and promotions. Then I realized I was playing the wrong game. So I started freelancing on weekends, learning coding skills, and eventually launched an app. Now, I make more in a month than I used to in a year. Friend number 1 looks skeptical. That sounds risky. What if it doesn't work? Friend 2: what if it does? Staying stuck is its own kind of risk. At least this way, I'm taking steps toward freedom instead of waiting for permission to live. Which path will friend number 1 choose? Take back. Your future life is unpredictable. Waiting for retirement to start living is like gambling with your happiness, and the odds aren't in your favor. The wealthy understand this principle intuitively. You don't wait for permission to win, you create your own wins. By rejecting the traditional LCLS model, you reclaim control. You stop sacrificing today for a hypothetical tomorrow. You start designing a life that aligns with your values, passions, and aspirations. So, rewrite the script. Build wealth on your terms. Live boldly, intentionally, and freely. Because in the end, the greatest scam isn't losing money, it's losing time. Don't let them take yours.